everybody. Welcome, welcome. The last section of the day. I do not want it to end, but we've got an awesome group of companies, Transformative AI Teaching Technologies. Here to kick us off is Clarence Tan from Boddle Learning.
Hello, everyone. So glad to be here. My name is Clarence. I've been a game designer for more than 10 years, and I'm one of the co-founders of Boddle Learning. And what we are is we are a kids gaming platform that has helped more than 7 million kids with math and English. And we started this company because we are really passionate about the game space, and we really believe that games have the opportunity to do so much more good than just entertainment. And our mission is to build games that are fun, but also help kids learn and build confidence. And the way that we approached it was a little different. We came more from the lens of a kids brand than a tech company. So we spent all our initial effort in building characters and IP. And our goal was to build characters that, obviously kids would love, but also like really visually resonated and showed lifelong learning. And so after about 6 months, 120 iterations, we tried the traditional like owl characters, book characters, humans, animals, and even like the classic light bulb that you see in education. What we ultimately resonated with and what 89% of the kids that we surveyed chose was this, and it's the bottlehead. And kids loved it because it was very unique, it was whimsical, and we loved it because it was very easy to communicate that message of like fill up your head with knowledge and then use the knowledge that you earned to pour back out to help others and make the world a better place. And so with this IP, Boddle was born, and we started and went into product development. And from a high level, what it is, it's learning games for kids, and it's paired with a teacher dashboard so that teachers can use it in the classroom as a classroom companion. And what is a little bit different is we don't build educational games. We build real games, and we created a framework that allows us to embed learning content like quizzes, like questions and lessons into these games for maximum engagement and motivation. And while kids are playing, they're having fun, we're collecting the responses and putting it in a teacher portal so teachers get automatic reports for learning gaps, progress. We built tools that helps them create and grade assignments, and then we also have monitoring tools and classroom management tools. And so with this approach, it was not a huge win just for the students, but teachers and parents loved it a lot too. And as a result, we're now growing mostly organically, signing up about 20,000 kids every single day. And what we love to hear is obviously the feedback from students and teachers in terms of the engagement levels, but also the academic progress. But what was really shocking was all the different use cases that we did not plan for, that they're starting to use us for. So at-home learning, learning rotations for practice, for remediations, and for a lot of kids, we are their favorite early finisher activity. So we get a lot of feedback, and our approach right now is like, how can we use our brand and IP to help teachers address and replace less engaging activities in the classroom? And so we got a lot of feedback, and the #1 vote recently is math fact fluency. And so next month, we'll be launching a multiplayer racing game where kids can collect cars with the points that they earned, race each other in real time, and then, earn more coins, get more cars. And so that's something that we're really excited about. We did a small pilot, and kids were just like screaming in the classroom and loving it. And what we really love in our product roadmap as a result of doing this like multiplayer pilot is now we're gonna build more multiplayer activities. And so what we're working on right now is building out an online digital playground for kids to interact and play with each other in a safe manner, as well as leverage more AI tools for teachers to create content and load in curriculum that they want to use other than the ones that we provide. So we are a freemium app. So if you are working with a school or from a school, please sign up. We'd love to help you get onboarded. Again, it's free. And if you are a investor or want to partner up, please reach out. Be glad to talk to you the next time we race. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Clarence. Up next, we have Arvind Murali from Litmus Learn. Excuse me.
Hi, I'm Arvind Murali, founder and CEO of Litmus Learn. We're a comprehensive blended learning platform, starting with schools in India, because I grew up in India and I've spent a lot of time in the last few years in classrooms back home. And so many things about our classrooms have not changed. The way we start our classes with good morning, ma'am, that has definitely not changed. That's staying, that's luckily. But also other things like, how we teach mostly lecture style, that has not evolved. How we give homework, how we assign page 18 for today's homework, and how we assess students, that's not evolved. And that's not really for the lack of trying. People have taken a lot of effort. It's just you can't drop Western solutions into a classroom of 40 with no infrastructural support and just expect them to work. And so there's definitely a lot of appetite for what the Western world has seen in terms of engaging tools in India, but there needs to be a bridge, and that's really what we're trying to build. So what if there was a pragmatic way to go from where we currently are to this? So what you're seeing is like a practical small group instruction happening in a classroom in India, extremely engaging, just transforms. Teachers still do their regular teaching. 5 minutes in, they might go into a pure learning mode. There's preloaded content onto the platform that they use AI to create that engagement. That frees up their time to go walk around, do their facilitation. They look at the data, really know what group to go support, but that really is the transformation we're trying to bring into classrooms in India, and it's practical. That was still 40 students, and what's made that possible is Litmus Learn, a comprehensive solution. So really, we're catering to that entire teaching learning journey, all the way from planning, actually teaching the curriculum, going on to assessments for instruction, assessments of instruction. How do I get kids to review material? How do I give them assignments to do at home? Literally that every part of that teaching learning journey, but more importantly, the data insights. If you have all of these tools in single place, the insights are so rich. The kid's doing well in interactive videos, but the same question doesn't appear to be getting answered correctly outside of that. That kind of powerful insights is what we're able to draw. And I just want to spend like a few seconds on showing you just how versatile the tool set is. Of course, there's interactive videos, teacher-selected video, and that question becomes the conversational thing. But there's also crossword puzzles, a really powerful mastery-based quizzing tool. That's a game. That's literally Mario-like thing that kids are playing, but the questions come from the teacher. So it just creates that stretch of every single part of how you teach is within a single platform, and that's really what we're trying to do with this. And that's, of course, earned us a lot of love from both our teachers and students. They've not experienced anything like this before, and generative AI is helping teachers make this not a burden at all. And there's a lot of reasons, of course, a lot of teachers here jump through about 850 tools every year. That's just crazy, but that's what you do here. And a lot of reasons to bring this here, but we started with India for a very specific reason, because for the first time, we're seeing some market forces that play in India because of the edtech boom that's sort of taken away value from the school ecosystem to how parents are more nuanced now, more understanding of technology, and of course AI and a national policy coming in that's putting in pressure on more advanced technologies in the classroom. So that's given us that impetus to start in India, and we've gotten a little bit of a foothold with our work in India. We started with about $10,000 last August, and 6 months in, 1,600 contents created. The school's given us 5x their revenue. They didn't just double down, they 5x. And that's really cool for us, because now we're able to take this model and run with it everywhere in every school in India. And that's 1/5 of the world's student population is in India. So, and we got here this far. We de-risked it ourselves on our own dime, and we are profitable with a tiny team of 3 people. And that's exciting, because we are here also thinking about a fundraise, because we are profitable, why not raise money? And so if you're a VC, we'd love to talk to you about this massive business opportunity. If you're an impact investor, ask me about the NGO partnerships and how I can 10x your dollars, the impact that your dollars have. If you're an educator, I'd love to talk to you about pilots. And if you're none of these, talk to me anyway, I'll ask you something. So that's my time. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Arvin. Next up, we have Noreen Hall demoing InSpace.
Hello, everyone. How would you design learning today if you were starting from scratch and you wanted to design this at scale and accessible for everyone, and you had access to all the technology that's available to us today? I'm not going to say the AI word. Hi, I'm Noreen Hall. I'm the co-founder and CEO at InSpace. InSpace is a video collaboration and learning platform. We started about 4 years ago. I was professor teaching, and when things moved to online, I thought just like I was very ready. But one of the things that didn't work for me was the real connection, the authentic connection with students, when the light bulbs go on in the room and the discussions are so exciting, and that wasn't happening. And that's when we designed InSpace. And one of the things we had to do is use this mindset of thinking, how do we start from scratch and build a video conferencing platform that's just for education, like no one else matters? And it worked, and it was really different. And most of you who have tried it, like when you show up, your video squares or circles, you can click, you can move around. When you get close to someone else, you can hear them, you kind of have a conversation. As you move away, the sounds go down, so you can go talk to others, just like we do in a physical space. And just like that, the teamwork, classroom experiences, they completely changed. And then schools started using different spaces to create virtual campus. It was this heartbeat of the campus where you can instantly see who is online and just go have conversation with them, with context, knowing which spaces they are. Today I'm here because we are launching a new product, which is really exciting for us. It's really this moment where we're rethinking how we can completely redefine education at scale, where we can weave social interactions and hands-on experiences and those connecting moments into this learning experience. As you all know, AI-accelerated workforce is here, and we're still defining it, and we need to think about different skills. And as we see these extreme spots of productivity that we have with AI, we're also going to see this very interesting opportunity where in this future work where we have human and AI coworkers, as humans, we're going to actually double down on very human skills. But they're going to look just a little different, maybe a little too different. As we think about, we're all becoming more accelerated. We can do things faster because we have these AI agents doing things for us at a whole different speed. So we also have to learn how to do teamwork, collaboration, leadership skills in this AI-accelerated workforce. It's going to be a whole different level. And that's where we come in. We believe we cracked the code on this. So these are just some of the skills that I'm mentioning. And as we go on thinking, these are also some of the skills that are hardest to teach online, because as we were scaling things, we had to leave them behind because we didn't have the technology at the time to be able to do this. This is actually, let's hear from one of our customers.
We see learners who have lost a little bit of that social skill. And it's hard to get it back when you're in asynchronous mode, when you're not on at the same time. So InSpace, I think, becomes a rich environment for not only recovering maybe some of what was lost, but also for nurturing and developing and being really facile with the kinds of tools you need to work with individuals, people, and groups in virtual synchronous spaces. I think it's an important tool.
As you know, you can't go wrong with Paul LeBlanc. But one of the things that we have done is we've really redefined, we defined this concept of synchronous, flexible synchronous. Now, what is flexible synchronous? It's basically the synchronous connecting moments that you have, but they happen on your own time, not when they are measured. So when we create these persistent spaces that students can flow in and out of, they start building those between classroom connections, and that results in social capital and connection. Now today, we're in a very unique moment in history. We have two massive trends crossing. We have digitally accelerated population. People are not afraid to get online and have a connecting conversation. And we also have AI that's changing what's possible and what we can do. Now, I'm going to show you one very simple example just to kind of showcase this. Let's take a skill like active listening. Now, all the leaders know this is one of the most exciting skills, and I'm out of time. Okay, so as we kind of think about how we would teach this, I guess we can just fast forward right into here. If you're interested to learn about this and how we're teaching this very hard-to-scale skills at scale, feel free to scan this code. And if you want to collaborate or try it out just to see what does a human-centered and AI-powered environment look like in real life, and how we're redefining pedagogy and technology to teach in this new way that we can create these connecting experiences for all our students everywhere. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Noreen. Please welcome Bodo Honen to demo NOLEJ.
It's such great weather outside, right? Okay. Educators are struggling for content. So even though we have libraries of content that may include textbooks and videos and worksheets, we're still struggling for content because we need content that is adaptable. For example, I may notice that some of my students are struggling on certain competencies. Or I may notice that even though I'm a 10th grade teacher, some of my students require material that's at 7th grade level. Right? So I want to teach the same material, but I need it transformed into a different level. In addition, I'm interested in interactive content. I don't just want to hand out static textbooks and documents. Now, generative AI could be a solution, but what are we going to do about all the hallucinations? This is a big issue. We need to be able to trust the content that we provide our students. NOLEJ AI solved this by taking the content you trust and transforming it into the content you need. Let me show you how we do it. So this is NOLEJ AI. We have it available as a web app for teachers and instructors, but we also have it as a white label API that can be plugged into if you are an LMS provider or a publisher. Let me show you how it works. You click here on the top right. You click Create, you select your input language, you give it a title, and then you start uploading material so that you can upload video, audio, or text. You can upload or provide it a URL, or you can provide copy and paste free text. In this example, I'm going to paste in here a video about plastic pollution, something I've used many times, but I need to transform it into something that is particularly relevant for my students that are struggling. Here, I'm indicating the particular learning objective that I'm interested in. Right? So I want my students to, for example, identify the causes of plastic pollution and come up with some solutions. And then I select which learning level I want. Once I've done that, I hit go. And a few minutes later, we have a library of interactives that is ready for me to share with my students. On the right here is a preview of what that looks like to the end students. So now as an educator, all I need to do is go look at this list, choose which ones I want to share with my students. So let me show you a few examples. So I linked to a YouTube video about plastic pollution, and we transformed that YouTube video into an interactive video that includes pop-ups of all the key terms, as well as knowledge checks. And then here's an example of a formative and summative quiz. That's all specifically designed on those learning objectives that you've indicated. Here, this is an example of the glossary we produce. Then we have a whole bunch of other things like flashcards, summaries, drag the word assessments. This is a concept card. Then we have teacher materials to help you plan a lesson. And then we have a few games like crosswords and find the word. These are just a few examples. Right? So as an educator, I can pick and choose which ones I want. When I'm ready, I can configure it to my needs if I want to. And then export it to whichever learning environment I have. And that's it. It's as easy as that. So no tech skills needed, no instructional design skills needed, and it's plug and play ready for any learning environment. So We get some really good results from our clients, from our schools and educators. So if you compare the interactions that we generate compared to the non-adaptive static content they used to provide, they're reporting 85% more completion and 75% more attention because it's aligned to exactly what the student needs. So this is really great results. So if you need to create adaptive content in seconds, then you can test it out. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Bodo. Welcoming to the stage, Daniel Hippert from Ann Education.
Hello, everyone. I'm Danny Hippert, Head of Global Operations at Ann, and I'm here to introduce you to our company and product. Our goal is to make learning experiences more engaging and interactive using AI. Okay. So, you can see that digital education lacks engagement. But why is that? Digital education lacks engagement because producing interactive contents from scratch requires extensive labor, time, and investment from publishers and curriculum providers. And even though we partially digitized most curriculum products, most of them still have static electronic delivery. So take a PDF as an example. It's a digital file, right? And yet, you can achieve more with pen and paper than with a workbook in a PDF format. That's why the student is not really engaged there. But why exactly is his education lacking interactivity? So creating digital content from scratch that is actually interactive, as I mentioned, requires extensive labor, time, and investment from publishers and curriculum providers. The creation of digital assessment and interactive items takes a lot of effort from editors, from designers, and from developers as well. But why should interactivity always be created from scratch when there is an untapped goldmine of legacy content on which billions were already invested throughout the years? Why should these market-proven materials, and I mean textbooks, workbooks, worksheets, remain unutilized? That's where Ann steps in. Using AI, we transform static materials into engaging learning experiences. So imagine effortlessly taking a PDF or a textbook chapter and instantly transforming it into an engaging lesson with exercises that are solvable online with instant assessment. Within every exercise from the goldmine becomes interactive, right? While preserving the content's originality, educational integrity, and design. Every exercise is now auto-graded, gamified, and can be easily displayed with every LMS or within the customer's existing platforms and ecosystems. To all this transformation process here, we gave the name of Anification. It's a good name, right? Yeah, and of course, we are measuring data and delivering insights for the teachers as we go. Bottom line is that with Ann, everybody wins, right? So publishers can effortlessly update their catalogs with more interactivity without the prohibitive time and costs typically associated with content creation. Students can have more fun, right? And have their outcomes improved along the way. And teachers can work with the titles that they already know and love for decades, for ages. And also have their workload dramatically reduced by Ann's auto-grading features and easy-to-read dashboards. And all these unification layers, they are just the beginning. The next step is actually taking the content and generating new exercises out of the ones priorly made interactive. So we're now allowing the creation of adaptive learning paths, increasing or decreasing the difficulty of the same exercise that we made interactive. And that's not only that. We'll allow to change themes, we'll allow to change question types, or even curriculum standards with minor prompting. It's like having an infinite library out of materials that are already approved and market proven. You can do it with N. That's it. So I'll be around if you have any questions. I would like to thank you for the time and thank you for the GSV Cup organizers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel. Up next, we have Vlad Gutkovich from Diffit.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? My name is Vlad Gutkovich. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Diffit. Let's see if this works. There we go. Diffit is a platform that teachers around the world use to get high-quality instructional materials on demand that are just right for any lesson or student they're working with. Before starting Diffit, I spent about 15 years as the early-stage go-to-market leader for a number of other edtech startups. I spent most of my 20s slinging educational hip-hop across the country for vocabulary, which is a pretty good way to spend your 20s. I then helped Schoolzilla get hundreds of districts to use data to make better decisions for kids. And then I led go-to-market at Seesaw for about 6 years, where we got to tens of thousands of schools and district customers worldwide. Through that experience, through all these experiences, one thing really stood out and became obvious and stayed obvious, and that is that teachers are at the core of instruction. They are the difference between students having a great school experience and not. I believe that teachers are irreplaceable, that they have one of the hardest jobs in the world. I mean, we say this all the time, but it's like really true. Anybody here, classroom teacher? Okay, thank you. Not me, and I'm always like, man, y'all's jobs are way harder than mine. And so when Adam Black, my co-founder, and I started building Diffit a year ago, we knew we wanted to build something for teachers that they felt seen in, that helped them do their jobs in new ways, easier, faster, and that ultimately helped them what they do best, and that's provide excellent instruction for students. This image right here is from one of my favorite recent memories in Diffit history. About a month ago, we were at an event, and this teacher, Jeanette, who is a master high school science teacher, was demoing Diffit, but didn't know who we were. And so we got to just watch and see like, oh my God, how does this teacher talk about us? And then afterwards, I came up to her and I said, hey, I'm actually one of the co-founders of Diffit. And she just burst into tears and gave me this huge hug, which then I started crying, and we were all crying, and I just feel absurdly lucky to be able to work on a product that makes teachers feel this way. Since launching about a year ago, we've amassed, I suppose, a following of educators, schools, and districts around the world that are using Diffit to extend their existing curriculum, to make it more accessible for their students, to make it come alive in their classrooms, to fill gaps in curriculum where they exist, and to differentiate so every student can thrive. Let's do a quick demo. And this is going to be fun because I recorded this, and now I'm going to follow my own cursor if it works. Click. Hey, look at that. Okay. This is Diffit. There we go. As you can see, we try to keep things real simple for our users. Teachers don't have time to figure out clunky user interfaces, figure out where the buttons are. Teachers use Diffit in two ways, fundamentally. Either they already have curriculum or content, like an article or a video URL, a PDF, a primary source document, whatever they're working with, or they just don't. Like, congrats, you're teaching health this year. Good luck. Happens to a lot of teachers. So they would use this literally anything tab right here. And for our example, I thought it'd be fun to say, what is the GSV Cup 50? And see, can we produce a usable resource if that's what I was teaching? We pick a reading level, 7th grade, language, English. And in a few seconds, Diffit produces a resource for you. We grab some images. You can pick your own if you'd like that go with the content. We created a approximately 7th grade reading level informational text for you. What's pretty unique about Diffit is that 100% of the text that we generate actually come from cited sources that are current and vetted online and cited inline, so teachers can trust what we produce. We made you a summary. We made you key vocabulary words that go with reading, some multiple choice questions, which all of these are editable and tweakable. If you're like, I want more rigorous questions at a higher depth of knowledge level, you could do that. Short answer questions, open-ended prompts, sort of these components of what you might create an activity out of. Great. Let's say we tweaked it. Let's say I have a newcomer from Mongolia. I translated some of this or the whole thing into their language so all my students can follow along with the content. But now I'm ready to make this into something students can use. And so what I do is I open up this library, a growing library of student-ready, evidence-based instructional strategies that I can put my content into. So let's say I'm a high school social studies teacher, and we're working on claims, evidence, and reasoning. I find the CER short answer workbook. I do a little preview. I see what standards it's aligned with. I click open with slides. I could open it as other things if I want. And in a couple of seconds, I now will have that content about the GSV Cup 50 as an activity I can print and hand to my students. So vocab is now something that students can use in a sentence, find an image to represent. We've got claim, evidence, and reasoning around some of the open-ended questions from the resource. We've got reflection and discussion prompts for students to do group work together. And these are 100% based on teachers asking us, hey, can you make a hippo analysis for AP history? Can you make a cause and effects graphic organizer that works this way? And that's pretty much Diffit in a nutshell. Thank you for your time. I'm around wearing the green shirt.
Awesome, thank you, Vlad. Up next, we have Enlighten AI, presented by Gautam Thapar.
Hi, my name is Gautam Thapar. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Enlighten AI, and also a former teacher and school leader. So I'm excited to be with you today. At Enlighten AI, we're helping teachers to save time and give their best feedback on open-ended student work through a personalized AI grading assistant. The problem that we're solving is an age-old one. For decades, we've known that feedback is a research-proven best practice, yet it has been trapped within a brutally inefficient grading process for teachers. Each year, even as grading has become a digitized process, teachers spend over 500 million hours each year grading and giving feedback on student work. That's the equivalent of over 300,000 full-time teachers. This work can come in tsunamis for teachers. A simple essay for a middle school course load can take up to 20 hours on the evenings and weekends. And so it's not surprising that grading and feedback is tied as the #1 most time-consuming, non-teaching task that teachers face. We also know that large language models out of the box are unlikely to be the answer to this problem. These systems have a tendency to hallucinate or confabulate, and that can cause harm or confusion in the learning process. But more importantly, these systems are misaligned with teachers in important ways. This study by the Digital Promise showed that when you compare human grading of student work to AI grading of that same work, that AI has a consistent bias to inflate student scores, be an easy grader, and thus become a vehicle for lower expectations and impact. And even in the case where AI is accurate, it must reflect the context of the classroom and the voice of the teacher in order to create a coherent learning experience. So how do we solve this problem at Enlighten AI? We provide teachers and educators with a personalized AI grading assistant. To our knowledge, the only AI assistant that learns and improves as the teacher or educator uses it. And it's a simple process for teachers. They collect their submissions, they load their scoring criteria, and they grade a few examples, just as they normally would when grading. But as they grade, the AI assistant learns and adapts, and thus becomes able to suggest precise scores and feedback that are accurate and aligned to the teacher's context. Let's take a quick look at how this works within the simplified example that we have in the time that we have. This is our grading interface where you have the student work, the rubric space, and space to provide comments. We'll generate first pass feedback so that the AI assistant can speed us up, and from here we can edit the scores and feedback to our liking. Now in the time that we have to show the learning capability of the AI, we'll put a simple comment here that students were supposed to include their word count in order to get full points. Teachers can of course use this for much more robust editing and revising, but for our purposes, this will do. When we save and continue and move to the next student, the AI has correctly identified that the next student is a lower scoring response, but it hasn't yet captured that word count is part of our expectation in scoring. So we put this feedback again, commenting again to teach the AI what our expectation and what our scoring standard is. And when we save and continue, not only has it correctly identified that the third response is a lower scoring response, but it's showing evidence of learning by identifying the word count as part of our expectations for feedback. Now, of course, teachers can use this tool not just to provide idiosyncratic feedback on word counts, but to comment on the quality of a student's thesis, the relevance of the evidence, the soundness of the student's reasoning. We've had teachers who have given over 2 million words of feedback to students, and it's all theirs, personalized to them. Because our system is convenient and also efficient for teachers, it has quadrupled in terms of signups over the past 3 months as we've released our upgraded beta. And this is simply because teachers find that they're released from the tension of choosing between burning out to give their own feedback and not giving it. Our team is uniquely suited to meet the moment on this challenge. I'm a former educator myself. I founded a high-performing charter school in the East Bay area where I experienced this problem from multiple vantage points, lots of late nights grading for me. And my counterpart, Praveen Wycliffe, is a 20-year seasoned software engineer who founded his own startup at 27 and grew it to 100 people. I'll leave you with this. Even as somebody who has spent the last decade plus in and around schools, I've been shocked by the level of need. We've seen teachers who have turned to Instagram to get friends to help them grade papers because they've been so behind. Others who are now working 1.2 FTE, don't have a prep period, and simply don't have any time during the school day in order to grade. And just last week, I heard from a principal who told me that one of their teachers who was leaving next year cited grading as the moment when they realized the burnout was just too much. We can do better, and what we're building is big, it's different, and it is sorely needed. So I appreciate you listening to our talk, and hope you'll join us on the journey. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so we just have a 10-minute break, but stick around. We have Adil Khan from MagicSchool coming up next.
Hi, my name is Adil Khan. I'm the founder of MagicSchool. MagicSchool is the leading generative AI platform for teachers, and it is grown from 0 to about 2 million users in the last 10 months. It's the fastest growing technology platform in education in schools ever. I am a former teacher and a principal, and I built this product very intimate to the domain of teachers and principals through my, based on the career that I've had in the classroom. And you know, we've spread a lot, we've grown a lot over these last 10 months, and I'd say that's been a story of community. We've had technology coaches, educators love this platform so much that they've wanted to share it with others. And so many of our users are telling us that they've, you know, for the first time in their career, they found a technology that really genuinely saves them time and helps them have more sustainable careers. And we're starting to see students use the platform too, as we just rolled out our student product. And they're not only getting these generative AI experiences in their classroom that are going to prepare them for a future where generative AI is more and more a part of their lives, it's also assisting them. AI can be the ultimate assistive technology for a student who might be behind grade level, a student who might be new to the country, and needs translation services right at the click of a button. So we are so excited about what we've built. And instead of talking about it, I want to show it to you. So we will go to a demo of the product. And on the screen, you'll see MagicSchool. It's free to sign up for MagicSchool. You get a really generous version of the platform. And you'll see that there's all of these tools on the platform that you can use that can help you as an educator in your job. You can do things like build a lesson plan. You can create an IEP if you're a special education teacher. As a former special education teacher myself, those used to take me hours. And you'll see I just scrolled through a bunch of the different categories that categorize these tools. But we'll start with one of our more popular ones, which is the rubric generator. In this case, this rubric is based on an argumentative essay. I click generate. In a matter of seconds, I have a rubric that I can now take into my classroom. And keep this in mind, I built this for a persuasive essay for 9th graders, because I'm going to use this rubric in my classroom, and I'm actually going to use it later in the demo as well. So after I built this rubric, I exported it, I saved it as a PDF, and now it's on my computer, and I can use it for my students. I'm going to show a couple of other tools from the educator side of the platform. The next one is the restorative reflections tool. This tool will create a restorative reflection for a student who got into trouble at school. They got in a shoving match in the cafeteria. And in seconds, they get a reflection to think about what they did in context of what actually happened in that incident with research-based best practices on restorative justice. And now we're jumping to the student version of the platform. And you'll walk through the flow here. I click Launch Tools, and now you see all these tools that students can use. And as a teacher, I'm choosing their experience. I'm picking one or more tools. In this case, I picked a chatbot, and I'm setting the grade level on that chatbot here. And I'm going to save it, and then that's what my students will see when I launch this tool to their classroom. And then remember that rubric I created. You'll see the rubric being attached to this writing feedback tool. So AI is going to give students feedback on their writing in context of that rubric that I created. And all the student has to do is put in their writing and click generate. We'll see that in just a second. So now I've customized all these tools. I'm ready to launch this dashboard to my students. And I'm going to name the classroom right here and click launch. And you can join the classroom if you'd like with the QR code there and check it out yourself. Sorry if you missed it, but you'll get that again at the end. You can try it. But I'll show you the student experience. So now I'm a student. I logged in. I get my responsibility flag to make sure I'm using AI responsibly. I review that as a student, and then I get started. First, I'll click on the writing feedback tool, and I'm going to go find the essay that I wrote based on that assignment, the rubric that my teacher built. I'm going to copy and paste it right into the document, and I'm getting personalized feedback in context of the rubric my teacher assigned, areas of strength, areas of growth, feedback on writing mechanics. And because I'm a curious student, and I'm not sure exactly what that means, what does it mean to make a more memorable closing? I'm going to ask that at the bottom of the chatbot. And it's going to give me examples of how I can enhance my writing. So not only am I getting feedback right in the moment, I can continue the conversation and follow up and understand what that feedback means and improve my writing dramatically. Here's a fun tool. I assigned a rap battle to my students, and students can put in Alexander Hamilton, James Madison. They're going to rap battle about the National Bank. We'll click generate. And now we have a sweet rap battle that I can perform at the end of class between Hamilton and Madison, and bring some engagement with generative AI and see some of the power of it for my students. So that's the student experience with MagicSchool, and there are 40 other tools you can engage with in using MagicSchool. But there are two different sides of the platform now. There's this educator assistant, and there's this student assistant. And again, if you want to play with any of those tools I just created, you can do that right now by scanning that QR code. And thank you so much for your time, and I hope you get to play with MagicSchool. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Adil. Next up, we have Project Read AI, presented by Vivek Ramakrishnan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Viv. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Project Read AI. We are a AI co-teacher for the science of reading. So what the heck is that? As you all may not be surprised to learn, the state of literacy in the US is quite alarming. About 2/3 of students cannot read at grade level. And there's two solutions that are promising, but both of them have implementation challenges. The first of which is individualized tutoring. I'm sure a lot of folks in this room have heard of Bloom's 2 sigma problem, nothing new there. There's also a completely separate trend of science of reading-based instruction, that is evidence-based literacy instruction, where 37 out of 50 states have recently passed laws that mandate or incentivize a certain way to teach reading that is aligned to the evidence-based around how children best learn how to read. But even that has its own challenges. A lot of challenges for teachers to implement that with fidelity. It has a much higher teacher prep burden, cognitive load, and I experienced this firsthand when I was teaching first grade at a charter school I co-founded. So we have an AI co-teacher for the science of reading that has 3 separate tools, one of which is a teacher-facing decodable story generator. 2 is a teacher-facing AI literacy chatbot where teachers can ask questions and get responses from this chatbot specifically about how to tackle structured literacy challenges in their room. And then finally, we have a 3rd tool, a student-facing AI tutor. So I'm going to show you a short demo, and it's going to show a story being built that's aligned to a specific phonics skill about me, Mr. Ramakrishnan, teaching in Memphis, and then we're going to show you a quick video of a student named Brooklyn reading aloud. I can quickly edit that in case I don't like the first draft. We have a teacher in the loop.
Can you read this sentence to me? Sam is in a fin. Can you read this word again? Tin. The letter T makes a hard sound like in the word tiger or tin. It can also come at the end of a word, like at. Tin. Great job. You got that right. I'll make sure you see this word again so that you get more practice.
So not only does the teacher get data on the specific phoneme-grapheme correspondences that the student has missed, that student then gets a next story that is based specifically on those errors. All of that data is reported to the teacher, and they can then use all of that data as if they were listening out loud to all 30 students read in their class, which they really don't have time to do, and use that to inform the instruction in their class in small groups, whole groups, etc. We've kept things scrappy and lean so far and made through just organic and word of mouth from teachers. We are in 70,000 different teacher signups in 112 countries, and we're really excited about where we go from here. We think we're solving a really important problem, which is students who are still learning how to decode words. They're not able to interact with chatbots yet. And if students do not acquire these early literacy skills by the end of 3rd or 4th grade, it really sets them back in a variety of ways, and this is a challenge we're really excited to solve hand in glove with teachers. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Vivek. Up next, we have SchoolAI, presented by Caleb Hicks.
Thank you. So as mentioned, I'm Caleb Hicks, CEO of SchoolAI. We're on a mission to make school awesome every day for students, teachers, school leaders, and families. I'm going to show you some of the building blocks that we're working with today to make that happen. I'm on the clicker here. So right here, you can scan this if you want. I'll have screenshots up here, a couple of videos. But if you want to try the student experience live, you can scan right here. We've been running student sessions with AI for about 16 months. We are a group of teachers, school leaders, and ed tech engineers from companies like Pluralsight, Apple, Instructure, etc. And Kaylin and I both co-founded different schools focused on the idea of having a 1-to-8 teacher-to-student ratio. And the entire idea there is that there are powerful moments to be had when a teacher knows how every student is doing and feeling, academically and emotionally. So when I had 3,500 students at Lambda School, I, at the end of every day, knew how every student was doing and feeling and was able to pinpoint that. So when Kaylin and I got together and started thinking about AI's impact in the classroom, we really wanted to focus there. And if you came back to this QR code, I'll throw it back up if anyone wants to see it. This is a bell ringer check-in that I created specifically for this session. So for you in here at ASU+GSV, at the GSV 50 Cup, and I loaded it up from this presentation. So if you want to not listen to me for the rest of the time, you can just chat with this, get whatever you want out of that. You can get my phone number. You can get like a drink card. I'll Venmo you $20 if you get to a special Easter egg in the activity. Totally up to you. But the cool and powerful thing for me is that if I'm teaching a class with a bell ringer space, is what we call them, I have a dashboard right here on my phone that tells me how you are doing and any scenarios that I should know about. Are you ready for class? Are you struggling at home? This is the power of AI in the classroom. So we like to say we make magic for students and the people who support them by finding out what students need and making it happen. So we fill these gaps between student, teacher, school leader, and families at home. So I mentioned we started running these about 15 months ago, 16 months ago. But we were really launched at the beginning of this school year. Spaces, these are these personalized check-ins, tutors, And we like to call them like magic school bus style activities. And the reason we say that is because there's rap battles, right? There's also, you can become a water droplet and go through the water cycle. Or you can interview Abraham Lincoln at the end of the Civil War. All the while, we're surfacing new insights to teachers that haven't been seen before. The way we personalize this is we start mixing in details that tailor every message to every individual student. And things like the lesson content, student interests, accommodations, the teacher's instructions. And as I mentioned, we start surfacing an entirely new type of insight to the teacher. So you can actually start to know every student in your classroom, even when you have upwards of 300 students at a time. But what started as a toy is now doing serious work. Almost every day, we are seeing examples from the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy all the way up to the top of Bloom's taxonomy. We deal with students that are dealing with abuse at home, that teachers and schools are finding out about and being able to help with for the first time, all the way up to the most creative and excited kid that wants to go as far as they want. And that is the magic of AI in the classroom, is being able to fill that whole spectrum where the kid needs, when they need it, and making that actionable for the teacher. I'm at time. Here's how we're doing so far. We have more than 10,000 teacher-created activities on the platform. We're in 100,000 classrooms. We've worked with 1 million students and generated over 10 million insights, and we're just getting started. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Caleb. Up next, we have Shubham Goyal presenting Cerebry.
Should I start? Hi, everyone. This is Shubham from Cerebry. We are based out of Singapore. Okay. So large language models are, of course, expensive. The solutions are often inaccurate, and the way the steps are represented might not align with how a teacher has taught in the classroom. So instead of just relying on LLMs, we use a deductive reasoning engine written in Prolog. So essentially, we encode all the rules and theorems as first-order logic predicates. So for example, here, if you guys remember your secondary school math, you see an example in Pythagoras theorem. Similarly, we have encoded around 11,000 other axioms to cover all of STEM. We don't have time to go into this, but essentially, the reasoning engine generates problems, solutions, and interventions on the fly, while the LLMs convert the abstract representation into human understandable text. Instead of relying on models with a lot of parameters, we fine-tune smaller models which are domain-specific to save costs. And for some applications like doubt solving, the LLMs just help to convert or to take out the computational component, which is then solved by the reasoning engine, etc. So the engine can generate step-by-step solutions according to the curriculum or the way the teacher has taught. So for example, here you see the solution is in the form of a bar model method, which is common in Singapore. While if you are teaching in another country, or if you are a different teacher with a different style, here you have a solution using simple algebra, depending on if the student knows algebra or not. Teachers often use this to create new questions, and they can assign parallel items to every student without having to worry about accuracy, changes in level of difficulty. And because of this, some schools use this to create unlimited open assessments, without having to worry about questions getting leaked, etc. Now, if you see the simple problem, and if the student makes a logical error, so I'm sure all of you are good in math, so let's say that instead of multiplying by 2, if the student divides by 2, then not only can we show the student a complete step-by-step solution, we can also pinpoint the logical error because of the reasoning engine, and we can show the student that this step is wrong. But there are cases where the student might still not be able to understand, they might still enter random incorrect answers. Then in that case, what the engine will do, it will just break down the question into its steps to scaffold the student and to understand what the precise underlying misconception is. Of course, we can provide instantaneous feedback for open-ended answers. Since the costs are low, schools can use this unlimited for any domain for all the problems. We provide a cheaper and more accurate version of Khan-Migo. Of course, if student needs help, they use the chatbot. It doesn't tell them the final answer, but it will ask questions that help scaffold the student. And if I enter irrelevant things, for example, if I profess my love for it, it will tell me that it's not related to the topic. So this is the core team. The engine is based on my co-founder's PhD work. We are primarily a B2B company. We became profitable, and most of our revenue still comes from private schools. However, in some countries like Japan, we localize the product, and then we provide APIs, which are then embedded into our EdTech partners' offerings. In some countries in the Middle East, we serve governments directly. We help the public school system students prepare for exams like PISA and TIMSS. They really care about the rankings. And in countries like India, most of our usage comes from offline test prep centers. Now we have our first paid deployment into a school district in the US. Now we have community colleges and private universities using this in the US. So rather than listening from me, why don't you listen to an educator around 2 hours from here about his experience.
Hello everyone, this is Peter Esperanza, and I'm a math instructor at Barstow Community College, West Coast University, and Chapman University. And I've seen firsthand how Cerebry is revolutionizing the learning experience for my students. This AI-powered platform provides personalized support and feedback, helping my students grasp complex mathematical concepts with greater ease. Through Cerebry's adaptive learning algorithm, each of my students receive tailored lessons and practice exercises, ensuring they master all the skills required in my calculus, algebra, and statistics courses. I no longer have to resist the integration of AI in my teaching because Cerebry has empowered me to become a more effective distance learning instructor. And as a result, my students are thriving. And I must say that the future of education is here and it's powered by Cerebry.
Thank you, everyone.
Awesome, thank you so much. Next up, we have Bethany Maples from Atypical AI.
Thank you. All right. Check out what my slides are. You know, I just found out that nobody's winning the cup, so I'm feeling very relaxed right now. I'm Bethany. I'm the CEO and founder of Atypical AI. You know, I think about and I care a lot about connecting the whole learner. You know, when you think about what's been broken in education perennially is that we're focused on creating the perfect math tutor, but we forget that the thing that makes people really drop out of the learning journey is the social, the emotional, the financial. And so what we've done at Atypical is think not only about, sure, how to give the perfect math answer, but how do we bring AI to the people where they're using the content, and how do we model the whole learner so that we're not only more accurate than anybody else, but we're actually enjoyable to work with and able to give the information that the student and the teacher needs to each other so that they can continue their learning journey. And with that, I will play a 3.5-minute video.
There is no typical educator.
Who's this woman?
Nor learner. Nor class. There is not a typical way to teach, to begin a learning journey, to discover, to try and try again. There is atypical. We are all atypical. Atypical brings artificial intelligence to humans in service of their habits, their relationships, and their unique insights. By grounding in the highest quality content that is distributed globally, Atypical starts with impact, serving the teachers and the students who need it most. Let's start by seeing what a teacher does. Atypical offers a broad range of activities which provide personalization, efficiency, and orchestration. The teacher textbook and content is all here, discoverable, easily and intelligently imported, content you know, trust, and which is adapted to your needs. You can build a wide range of content like a homework assignment based on your licensed textbook or based on your own preferences. You can also assign a tutor that is customized to individual teacher pedagogy. Now, let's see what the learner sees. Of course, you can chat with your textbook. It can also reference your unique content in a deep manner. Imagine an AI study assistant that can help you review difficult concepts from your textbook. Our tutors are localized, intelligent, able to focus on a book for high accuracy, or go off topic and engage in curiosity. In fact, Atypical has deep abilities which are unique in the AI market. Our tutor serves multimedia grounded in the textbook and can sense the learner's cognitive state, including common misconceptions about course material, allowing it to give the best possible advice for what to do next. Maybe that's an adapted problem, maybe it's a refocusing moment, but maybe it's just a break. Accurate and diverse modeling of human needs is what the best teachers and experts do, and we bring this science to life. Back in the teacher's view, we start and end with teachers, always keeping their well-being and growth in our design. For example, our co-grader not only grades across item types, including free response, but the AI system also works with the teacher, not 100% automating, but making sure it is a trusted companion for time-intensive work. These interactions generate a lot of data on learning. We can use them to provide insights for teachers that help them prepare for the next lesson or assignment, completing the learning loop and empowering them to orchestrate their class effectively. Teachers can customize activities based on their pedagogy and what their students are struggling with, or an easy-to-use interface that reduces time for class preparation. We use the best of learning science and a deep understanding of machine learning and AI to inform these approaches. Atypical brings breadth and depth to artificial intelligence in education. Your content, learning science, and human-computer interaction principles in action. Atypical AI, connecting education globally with human-centered artificial intelligence.
No. What does this mean in action? Atypical offers what we call an end-to-end AI infrastructure platform for education. We are trusted by some of the largest universities, publishers, and human tutoring platforms in the world to bring the highest quality experiences, accuracy, and insights to their learners around the world. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bethany. Okay, before we get to our last couple demos, just wanted to say thank you so much for everyone for being here. We've just got some awesome companies demoing today, and we've been super excited for this day. So excited to welcome to the stage Eirik Wallström from Ludenso.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Eirik, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ludenso. And I'm very excited to talk to you all about how we're bringing learning to life. I started this company with Ingrid and Harald, who are my co-founders from Norway. So I came a long way just to talk to all of you guys. And another Norwegian that is backing us is Johan Brand, the founder of Kahoot, which most of you would know. But before I go on, let me introduce you to my sister, Camilla, who is one of the most wondrous people I know and is a fantastic paramedic in the north of Norway. But even though she's excelling at her job, she struggled to stay motivated. And as she's dyslexic, having visual learning aids was incredibly important for her to understand the topics. But being demotivated from reading and learning materials is not something new. As many as 85% of all elementary kids' schools are not motivated by their learning materials, and it doesn't get better. At high school, 45% reports being chronically disengaged, and at higher education, 33% drops out. Just imagine how those numbers would be radically different if education looked like this. That would be awesome, but we're not here. This is actually 6 years old, but we're far from it. But even though we're far from this reality, we're still at the point where bringing learning to life really has a good impact on the student motivation and engagement. This is from a classroom in Belgium. Bringing learning to life doesn't really just spark motivation and engagement. It also boosts long-term memory retention, increases their creative skills, communication, and their understanding of the topics, which leads to 80% better performance by the ones utilizing it. But if this is so great, then why aren't everyone using it? And the key reasons for that is that AR and 3D has traditionally been very expensive, hard to scale, and also quite not so good to use. And most of these problems stems from the fact that the content production itself has been locked within the realm of developers, and developers aren't necessarily the best pedagogues. But recent advancement in both software and hardware is now enabling educators to be empowered to create these learning experiences themselves. As you can see from our solution, an editor or a teacher can, within seconds, create, customize, and modify their 3D experiences, which is immediately available for the students, either as an AR application or as an embedded resource within browsers. And this is possible through the no-code drag-and-drop system that we're the market leader of, naturally. And while we so far has been limited to a set number of pre-created 3D models, you can now AI generate these models on the fly. That is not perfect yet, but as you can see from this video, you get quite good result now, which is vastly different from what was just possible 6 months ago. And while there will be many actors that are AI generating 3D models, being able to then utilize those 3D models by customizing them, embedding them, and enabling them for your learners, that's where we shine. And because we're at the forefront of this development, we've been able to partner with some of the leading educational institutions in just the last 2 years, including Cambridge, Elsevier, Oxford, and more. But the publishing space is just the beginning. We're here because we believe that everything that can be better explained in 3D and AR than 2D images, videos, and animations will be in the next decade. And then it doesn't matter if you're Khan Academy, Arizona State University, or Cambridge. If 3D is beneficial, you will use it, and most of those actors will use us. So if you're an investor or an educational leader, either scan this QR code or email me at eirik@ludenso.com. I'll also stay here until the end of the presentation, so come meet me outside if you want to talk. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Eirik. Last but not least, we have Jack Forbes from Class Companion.
Oh, hey. Thanks, y'all. I'll close you out real fun, I promise. I'm Jack. I'm a co-founder at Class Companion, and I'm excited to show you how Class Companion provides the best instant coaching and feedback on student assignments. So before I get into the demo, who better than teachers using Class Companion to tell you what kind of impact we've had? Here's Shane Witchers, US History and Civics in Washington State. That's where I live. Shout out. And he's going to tell you about how Class Companion has improved student outcomes in his class.
Most kids who used Class Companion scored like A-B range. And the kids that didn't use it were, including zeros, kids who didn't do it, they were in the C-D range.
Right. A-B using Class Companion, C-D without. Oh, pretty cool if you ask me. Here's Jalissa Bohannon, an English teacher in Texas, to tell you about how Class Companion's instant coaching and feedback has increased student engagement in her class.
I've seen growth in them. I've also seen a lot of investment where students will actually take time to read the feedback and then ask me questions about what that feedback means. So I really think that it helps to open up a conversation between student and teacher.
And this is actually one of our teachers interviewing her as well. Voluntarily made a YouTube series out of this. Yeah. Okay, last but not least, here is Candace Baker, geography teacher in Illinois, to tell you how Class Companion's instant coaching and feedback has increased her capacity as a teacher.
With 70 students,
my biggest struggle was, well, how do I have time to sit down with each of them and be like, okay, here's where you need to go a little bit further with this, or here's something to think about. And I just don't have the time to do that.
Okay, without further ado, let's see a demo of Class Companion. Hello and welcome to the Class Companion demo. To start off, we're in our demo class here after importing our assignments and students, and we already have some submissions from our students here so we can see high-level analytics about their median score, how many times they tried again, asked for help, disputed the AI feedback if they felt that it was incorrect. And if we actually dive into one of these students, we can see AI analytics as well that have summarized Hermione's strengths and areas for growth, citing specific examples as well. So now let's dive into the actual assignments and submission process here. So we'll start with a short answer question from Ron, and we can see he got 3 out of 4. This short answer involves an image as a source, and we can see right off the bat Ron asks for help, which Class Companion is able to interpret the image and identify that the different colors represent the median age ranges across the US states. So then Ron takes his first attempt at the assignment, and as a teacher I was able to select however many attempts I'd like here, in this case 2. While Ron got it incorrect, he was given specific feedback on how to improve. After asking a question that doesn't count as an attempt, Ron took his second and final attempt and was given, some motivating words and details about why Ron was incorrect. And on the second question here, Ron was actually able to get the correct answer, we can see. So now moving on to an essay, we'll look at a long essay question here, and again look at Ron's submission where he got 3 out of 6. As a teacher, I can see what text a student may have pasted, along with the amount of time they spent typing to help me determine if they might have cheated. And we can see Ron got the thesis correct, but the evidence here was only 1 out of the 2, and we can see specifics on while you've described these examples, you haven't fully connected them to your argument about the moderate impact of technological advancements, so very specific and nuanced. So finally, we're going to look at a multiple choice question, and this one we're actually going to pull from the assignment library that Class Companion offers to teachers, which has thousands of assignments from Class Companion and other teachers that teachers can filter on. And this multiple choice question here has, third, fourth, and first answer correct. So now if I try it as a student, I'll do third, fourth, and then let's say first answer and see, what feedback we get. And yeah, we can see we got everything correct. So, a little celebration for the student to make them feel good about acing this assignment. And there you have it. That's Class Companion in a nutshell. If anyone wants to chat, you can email us here or talk to me, because I'm closing this out. So let's chat.
Awesome. Let's give a full round of applause for all of our presenters today. And thanks to Jack for closing us out. Also just wanted to give a quick thank you to Google, to the full ASU+GSV Summit team for making this come together, for all of our presenters today. If you have a pre-seed or seed stage company in mind, nominations for the 2025 Cup will open in the fall. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here.